All right. I feel like that light is really bright. I'll turn that down a little bit. Time to shuck some oysters. Maybe not that low. Maybe that low. That's better. Not shining in my face as much. All right. Soy sauce tails, you are first. Ben S, you're second. So we're going to do things a little bit differently today. I watched a whole bunch of shucking videos of previous shucking competitions. Good one, Randy. Good one. And what I saw was they put all the oysters kind of out in front, shucked them close to themselves, and then moved it over. So it wasn't like I was doing before where it was like on my left-hand side and going like that. It's going to be more of putting it in the front, shucking and putting over here. So let's see if that makes it quicker. How you doing, Ryan? Hello from Hagerstown. I appreciate that. So we're going to start going through and we're going to pick out 24 that look good. I'm going to do the time 24, and then I think I have enough to do some more after that and just keep practicing because it's pretty close. October 8th is coming up. These all look actually pretty good so far. You know, a nice shell where it's kind of pointed in or straight like this, not pointed down at all. This is a perfect shucking oysters. I don't eat as much seafood as you guys think, Mary. I really don't. I do get to eat a fair amount of seafood. I'm not saying I don't, but it's not as much as a lot of people think. It just seems that way because I shoot all the videos kind of at once. See, this one, if I have a choice, I wouldn't choose this one. See how it's like kind of like angled down a little bit? That's a hinge I'm not going to shuck. I got to pick all my oysters first. I can't just get to shucking right away. That's a good one. So we'll do rows of 6, 4 rows of 6, and that's how we know I have 24. Line them all up with the hinge facing towards me so I can just grab them back and put them on, and then start with the close row first and go that way. I'm starting to figure out that like literally every second is going to count because I'm not a super fast shucker. So even just like the transfer and stuff like that is going to matter a whole bunch, like how quick I can get it to me. The knife is on the website, buythewaterstore.com. That's buythewaterstore.com. I think the hammers are up there too, but I'm not sure. I don't think the rules care if I'm gloved or not. And what I see a lot of people doing, instead of like just wearing a shucking glove, they have like a plastic glove on the outside and then like some like padding underneath. I don't know. Someone just put a money machine on TikTok. I had no clue that actually was a thing. No, I never get sick of seafood. Sometimes I get sick of the certain seafood I've been eating. Like there's definitely times I get sick of oysters or after all these crab videos. I'm not saying I'm sick of crabs, but I'm definitely looking forward to not going to not going to 3 crab restaurants every week. That's just a lot of traveling and doing, but I've enjoyed it too. That's another good one there. That one's going to be an easy one to shuck. So right now we're up to 18. It looks like we got just over 24 in here, right? 6, 12, 18. Yes, I was correct. What type of oysters? They're Birch Point from Steuben, Maine. They're the exact same type I had last week. And Real Oyster Cult was the one that provided them again. And there's a link in my bio if you guys want to order these same oysters. They're also in the description of the YouTube video and the description of the Facebook one too. So they're kind of everywhere. And I got to say, even the ones that I had last week that I was shucking on here last week, they were still good when I shucked them today. So they give some high quality oysters to you because they just, I don't know how they get some of the best stuff, but they keep them well, and they ship them really well. And when they get to you, they last a long time. So they are a little bit more expensive than other places, but I think it's worth it. What's up, Colton from Surf's Up Seafood? That's funny, man. Did you guys see the video I made, Colton? Awesome. That's awesome, man. It's a bummer I didn't get to go out on the oyster farm with the farmer, but just couldn't make it all work. That's awesome. We'll be back, I'm sure, down to Rodanthe, so we'll have to stop back in and maybe do something different too. Maybe actually get out there on the oyster farm or go see how some of the stuff gets to the table. There's an octopus on my head on TikTok. It's a cute octopus. All right, so I have 24 oysters in front of me. Before in the other ones, I had them off to the side, and I think that slowed me down a little bit. My first time was 10 minutes and 45 seconds. The second time was 7 minutes and 15 seconds. And the third time was 4 minutes and 30 seconds. And I did it again without recording it, just practicing. And I got down to a little bit faster than that, 4 minutes and 30 seconds. So I'm hopeful that we can get to closer to like 4 flat. That's kind of my goal right now. And then right now we're halfway through September. So by October 1st, it will be Maryland oyster season. And I'll switch over from oysters from other areas, and I'll switch over to strictly wild caught Maryland oysters because that is what I'm gonna have to shuck there. I don't think I know they're not gonna be too different. The biggest difference between these and wild caught Maryland oysters are these have like much thinner shells, and I feel like they are a little bit easier to pop. So like when you're shucking an oyster, there's two different really ways to do it, and there's probably more than two. There's some people that call it bill shucking. Basically, you're taking the oyster or the oyster knife and you're inserting it right into this area, because right here on an oyster is the muscle that holds the oyster closed. And so when you put your oyster knife in here, when you bill shuck, you're basically creating a hole, cutting that adductor muscle, and then opening it that way. Some people are really good at that. I am absolutely horrible. And in fact, the only time I've stabbed myself, I have a scar on my hand somewhere, I stabbed myself with an oyster knife was when I was trying to do that exact thing. And that was when I first started shucking oysters. And that's why I started shucking from the hinge, because it just made more sense to me. And a lot of people say it's not the best way to do it, but I didn't think you looked mad, Colton. Maybe you're just annoyed with me being in there, video and everything. So that's why I hinge shuck. And I know like one of the faster people on the pro shucking tournament, tour hinge shucks as well. So I don't think I'm getting that fast, but hopefully I can get pretty fast. All right. So before I get shucking, I'll make sure I read through comments and stuff like that, see if there are any questions. Yeah, I didn't really start enjoying oysters either until I was in my late 30s. I liked them as a kid. I liked them as an early adult, but I didn't like really get into them until late 30s and stuff like that. So I get that. Someone asked on TikTok, are there any seafood destinations in the Florida Panhandle and the Carolinas that I would recommend? Not yet. That's something that we're going to start doing here in the late fall and into next spring and summer, is exploring some of those kind of things. And I'll have that kind of stuff out there for you guys so you can kind of learn from what I learned too. 100% if you're going to buy oysters online and you want a variety of different kinds, whether it's West Coast ones, East Coast ones, Canadian ones, is the Real Oyster Cult. The link is in the description on Facebook and in YouTube as well. It's also in my bio on on TikTok, but they're the best. They have a good variety of stuff. They are more expensive than other places, but I've never had an instance where I've had a bad oyster from them. And I know that some people that have ordered has said they got one or two bad ones. They messaged Real Oyster Cult, and Real Oyster Cult replaced them. No questions asked right away. So, that's who I would say. I've tried I've tried every single online oyster delivery service, and by far, I mean, they're the best, 100%. Yep, I've tried Taylor Shellfish. Yep, they're pretty good too. They just have a limited variety. You're just getting West Coast ones, and sometimes they're out of different stuff too. So, all right, so let's go ahead. I'm gonna slide my chair back. Kind of think this through here. So I guess I'm gonna start here and just kind of go up and across. It's kind of my plan. So my last one, my last one's gonna. Ooh, that one's not right. My last one will be this oyster right here. I also figured out when I was shucking earlier that if when I put it in the hinge and I pop the hinge, if I turn it up this way instead of that way, I can turn it up that way and then shuck the top. So it's actually going a lot quicker. So we'll see. No, you haven't missed any shucking practice yet. These are the 24 oysters I'm going to shuck with. And then I have a few more afterwards that I'll shuck too. So I'm going to get started. We're at 0. It's going to turn off on me in a second. I'm just making sure I have everything ready. All my trays ready. All right, we're going to get started. And go. One. Two. Three. Yeah, that does make it a lot easier. Oh, that got stuck on me. Okay, come on. 4. Well, that was a bad shuck. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. 'That's why I wear a glove. 11. That was a bad one. These last ones have been sloppy. There's a nice one. 13. 14. 15. 16. 17. 18. Board keeps slipping on me. 19. 20. Gotta get these last two done. Oh, that's a horrible job. Woo. Woo. Okay, that was fast. But I gotta say, they weren't my prettiest shucking. So we can see it again. It turns off, but it's still there. 3 minutes and 52 seconds. No, I got them. I can prove it to you if you want to see. I got the last one. I just was a little bit quicker with it. So here's one of the last four. Someone said I forgot to cut the muscle. You can see it slides around. Muscle cut. I kind of went off to the side. I realized I did and then went off to the side Pokemon. Or, nope, not Pokemon. Sorry, Pac-Man 184. I appreciate that, though. So, yeah, the new record now is 3 minutes and 52 seconds. I normally don't eat all of them, but I ate some of them. But I went faster and definitely lost some, like, control of it. So I got to get better about what I was noticing is when I had, like, basically, let me find a good one here. I don't know if it was the lighting or if it just was whatever, but I was having trouble getting the knife point in there and turned. So I got to work on getting that part. It was slipping like that. I don't know what was going on, but so that made it so the knife went into the oyster and then roughs them up a little bit. Sure, bring me a jar, buddy. Colton, I'll send you guys down one. Just send it down to the seafood place, down to Surf's Up. But yeah, I'm happy with the new score, the new time. 3 minutes and 52 seconds. But like I said, it was not the cleanest shucking. Like I got tops of oysters over here. So over the next few weeks, getting it that it's cleaner is definitely going to be the way to go. Thank you, oyster jar, sir. Soy sauce tails. So, okay, cool. Well, that would make it tough because I don't know. I'll try to get them. I don't have the hats and the shirts in-house, Colton. So when I do them, they take time to get down there because they're made somewhere else and then shipped. So bythewaterstore.com is where you can get the shirts and the hats with By the Water merchandise and all that kind of stuff on there too. Make more king crab videos. We could do that. I have some free in the freezer right now. So why would anyone, someone on YouTube asked, why would anyone have to shuck that quick? I'm going to enter in an oyster shucking competition on October 18th. I'm going to enter into the amateur one, which is on Saturday. And the goal was to be under 4 minutes. I'm going to tell you right now that if I presented these oysters, my score would be over 4 minutes because of my penalties I would get on the oysters, I'm sure. So I'm happy with the speed score. It'd be cool to get it down a little bit lower and get the oysters looking really good. So over the next few weeks, I'm basically trying to do that. Dave, they might not be good by the time you get here, but definitely at the Oyster Festival, I'll share the ones I shuck. 24 is the amount of the contest too, Minty. Yep. Yeah, I love Cape Cod seafood. I was actually born on the Cape. I was born in Falmouth, right in Falmouth Hospital. Moved down to Maryland when I was a little baby, but still have some family up that way. I appreciate that. Probably like 3 or 4 more, and then I'll put the rest in this jar here, and I'll fry them up or put them in something else. Yeah, the Cape is really pretty. I love it over there. No, I do a lot of real estate too. So it's a mix of both real estate and this too. It's basically from we get up pretty early, so I get up around 5:30. So from 5:30 in the morning until normally around like 1 o'clock, I'm working on real estate stuff, and then family stuff, and then in the evening I normally do more of the content creation side of it. But that's in my head what I like to do. But on the other hand, life has its way of just deciding what you're going to do. So I don't know what the amateur record is. The amateur record isn't published, so I'm not sure what it would be. Under 4 minutes. Yep, 3 minutes and 52 seconds. Pretty crazy. So some clients do recognize me. I don't know, he might be watching right now. He just found me, I think it was Saturday, but he's someone that they were in Baltimore, and then I sold their house in Baltimore. They moved down here to Leonardtown, sold their house in Leonardtown, and now they're in Calvert County. But he found me and was pretty shocked that we do what we do over here and that we have a following this large, which is just absolutely crazy to me too. Honestly, I still can't believe it. I can't believe you guys are sitting here watching me talk about oysters or just about me. I don't know. The pro record is under 2 minutes. I think it's 2 minutes and 58 seconds or so. Yep, we got the OBX cooler up there. That cooler is a cooler that has all of our stickers from all the different places we go. Instead of sticking them on a car or something like that, we put them on the cooler. How do we feel about the Ravens? Someone asked on TikTok. I'm not really watching them too much this year. It was a devastating loss last night, or not last night, on Sunday night. So who's mad at me for eating oysters? I don't know. I'm going to shuck the rest of these while we're sitting here talking, and then let's get them into the jar. And then we'll get some more oysters for next week and try this again. I got to think about, like, is it enough just to do these lives where you guys are seeing the progress? Do you want to see some of the, like, what's going on as I'm practicing throughout the week, or is it the lives just fine? I hope the Ravens make the Super Bowl. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you that would be really nice, but I don't know. I got my doubts. Yep, I've tried razor clams a lot. I like razor clams. They're really good. Hello, St. Mary's County person on TikTok. They won't let me tag St. Mary's County as like my location anymore for some reason on TikTok. They make me do Southern Maryland, which I don't know. I like tagging St. Mary's County. I got lots of people in St. Mary's County that would see me out and about and be like, man, it was so cool to see someone that local on my For You page, you know? I have tried box crab. So like there was last year, I did a whole series where I was trying. It started because it wasn't crab season yet in Maryland, and I wanted to make content around crabbing and around crabs. And so I started doing different crab videos. I mean, I tried like almost every single type of crab I could possibly find, and box crab was one of them, and that was pretty good. But I mean, like, I think you name it, I really did try it. It was pretty wild. The only one that I can think of course, mud crab. Everyone wants me to try mud crab, and I haven't tried that yet. And Japanese spider crab, coconut crab. I can't get a coconut crab. No one can get a coconut crab. Nope, I have two sisters. Gotcha. Yeah, this style is really good. This is the bent tip. I think it's called a Duxbury style blade. and it's made by R. Murphy. But it's a really good knife. I like it a lot. I sell this one on the store too, buythewaterstore.com. It's got my logo on it and all that kind of stuff. St. Mary's County is the place with the stuffed hams, and you got to go to W.J. Dent and Tall Timbers to get those. That is definitely the plan, to come to Maine and New England next summer to do some like lobster roll. I don't even like lobster roll, of course, lobster and oyster. So basically, I'm hoping starting late fall, early winter, we're basically going to start like a road tour, like a seafood road East Coast tour, starting in Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, going back to North Carolina, Colton, Virginia, Delaware, Maryland, and just kind of following the season up. It's not going to be like, of course, all at once. It's just going to be going, from time to time, or from month to month as that seafood becomes available, and working on it. I've never had it fresh. So, and is it langoustine? I'm guessing is what it's called, Ben. I've never had it fresh. I've only had it frozen, and I thought it was really like mushy and stuff like that. So it really wasn't for me. But again, I've had it frozen from like places like Costco and Aldi. So I don't think it's something that was that great. It tasted really similar to crawfish to me. Yeah, if you're driving from Oregon, this is a person on TikTok. If you're driving from Oregon to VA right now, first of all, hats off to you because that's a long ride. But also, like, it is going to be a lot different. First of all, if you haven't had an East Coast oyster yet, that's a lot different. I feel like there's more variety. Well, that area of Virginia, if you're down in Virginia Beach, there's actually a lot down there. I would say that, but I still think there's probably more variety out in Oregon. But it's going to be totally different. Yeah, definitely. No, I've never tried a New Zealand sea urchin. That's another place I want to go to. Australia, New Zealand is definitely a place I want to go to. All right. I'm going to shuck these last four and get these ones into a jar and keep answering some questions. And after that, I'm going to call it a day. What's wrong with someone on YouTube, TikTok said, turn back, it's not too late. I'm thinking Randy's talking about moving from Oregon to Maryland. There's nothing wrong, or moving from Oregon to Virginia. There's nothing wrong with that. I would say before, I definitely preferred East Coast oysters. And I guess I still prefer them, but I don't mind West Coast oysters anymore. Zebra mussels or blue mussels? I have no clue. I've never had either of them. Get all these into a jar. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the langoustines are the ones that are cooked. Yeah. I don't know. I just tried, like literally right before this, I made a video that I'm going to put out tonight about Trader Joe's tin calamari. So yes, I have tried it, and I'm going to put it out after I finish cleaning all this stuff up. Man, I don't do Gulf Coast oysters for the most part, especially this time of year when the water is in the 90s down there. It's not. I know there's ways to do it right, and there's checks in place for, especially for the oyster farms. But when the water is that warm, and there's a much higher chance of getting Vibrio from eating raw oysters. I do like steamers. I grew up eating, we call them soft shell clams, but I grew up eating those, yeah. All these in there. Okay, yeah. I mean, I can see what you're saying, Randy. Could I eat all these oysters in one sitting? I could. I just had dinner, though. Have I had a crab cake from G&M? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. All right, let's chuck these ones. Then I got to clean up my pile of oysters and call it a night. Use a boba straw. That is an absolutely disgusting thought right there. That is disgusting. Worst shucking injury. It was when I shoved the knife through my hand. One of the first times I tried to bill shuck. It didn't get infected. And I didn't have to go to the hospital or get any stitches or anything like that. But that was definitely my worst. Hey, Vicky from Alabama. I see you comment a lot on all my Facebook stuff. I really do appreciate that. The primo shucking technique really just depends on who you are. Different people have different methods and stuff like that. So the guy who is the fastest, I think, the one that I know as the fastest, shucks from the hinge, but I'm sure there's people that bill shuck and there's people that do other ways too that are just as fast. Some people swear by different knives, and I think it's all personal preference and how it kind of fits in your hand and how you, the best way you feel comfortable with it. So it took 3 minutes and 52 seconds. So I beat 4 minutes already. So this is week 4, started at 10 minutes and 45 seconds. And that was really because I was just talking to you guys the whole time and had some oysters that were harder to shuck. Went from that to 7 minutes and 15 seconds, and then went to 4 minutes and 30 seconds, and then ended up with 3 minutes and 52 seconds. So not too bad. Yeah, Virginia definitely has some good oysters, Johnny. I would try some ones from north of Virginia too. Try like Massachusetts or even Maine oysters as well. Big improvement from the 15-minute one, that's for sure. Yeah, today I got a lot of the meat stuck. Like it wasn't pretty today. It was quick, but it definitely wasn't pretty. So I got, you can see on this one, I got a fair amount of the meat stuck on the top shell on these ones too. So got to improve that next time for sure. I appreciate that. I hope we make it out to New Zealand at some point soon. Well, not soon, some point within the next year or two, because it's an area that I definitely want to check out. And I heard the seafood's delicious. So definitely something I want to do. I'm doing a seafood video, or a crab house video right now. So if you're in Clinton, watch that and see which ones are around you. Yeah, sorry, Mrs. Shucking. 3 minutes and 52 seconds. So we got under 4 minutes. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and go same time next week on Tuesday at 7:15. I guess we're going to see if we can beat 3 minutes and 52 seconds. I think what I really want to focus on, though, is getting nice, clean oysters and trying to get it to be around 5 minutes. No, Randy, I'm not the mother shucker if I get it to 3 minutes and 30 seconds. But that is a good way to end this. I'll see you guys next week.